All right, we're going to look at additives and subtractive modeling. So I'm going to go ahead and click to create a new design. I'm going to make a sketch on a work plane, and I'm going to go in here and grab the 2-point rectangle tool, and I'm just going to create a rectangle. I'm then going to add a sketch dimension to that rectangle. I'm going to make it 5 inches in the width dimension and 3 inches in the height dimension. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK click to finish that sketch. I'll go ahead and click my home view so I can see that in an isometric view. And then I'm going to add a feature to that sketch. And so I'm going to use the extrude command to extrude up this geometry to make it a solid model. And I'm going to extrude that up 2 inches. All right. And so what I've done is just create a block here. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add other geometry to this. And so I'm going to use an additive modeling technique. So I'll go ahead and click to create a new sketch. I'm going to click on the top surface of that sketch. I'll grab the rectangle again, and I'm going to draw a rectangle on my object. And I'm going to dimension that rectangle. Notice that that rectangle already has a constraint on it. And so it's this midpoint constraint. It's fixed to that. And so when I try to add a dimension to this, it says it's going to over-constrain it because it thinks that this line should be on the midpoint. And so I'm just going to go ahead and select that midpoint constraint and delete that. Then I can come in here and I can actually dimension from these two lines, and I'm going to make that rectangle 3 inches that I'm going to add to the top of that. I'll go ahead and click to finish the sketch, and I'll extrude it. This time I'm going to extrude it up 1.5 inches. And so you see that I used an additive method to create this part. Next, I'm going to show you a subtractive method for creating parts. And so again, I'll go ahead and click to create a sketch. I'm going to click this base work plane again. And I'm going to work down here in my sketch area. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'll dimension that rectangle. It's going to have a overall width here of 5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and add a coincident constraint to that, and I'm going to say that I want this point to always stay in line with that line, and that will move my sketch over. I'm going to give this sketch a height dimension of 3 inches. And then to fully constrain the sketch, I'm going to tell that this part and this part, I'll dimension them. Hit escape and get what I want. Select the sketch tool. That these two are going to be 2.5 inches apart. And so then I have a fully constrained sketch. I can go ahead and finish that. I'll go to my home view so I can see the sketch. And in this case, I'm going to click extrude. And instead of doing additive modeling, we're going to do subtractive modeling in this case. So I'm going to make the height of this extrusion 3.5 inches, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and create another new sketch, and I'm going to do it on the front face of this object. All right, when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab my rectangle tool and draw a rectangle. And I'm going to dimension those lines. I'm going to make this first one, I believe that cutout was 3 inches by the height of, I think it was 1.5 inches. We'll see if that's right. I'll go ahead and click to finish my sketch. Then I'll click the extrude button. And notice this time, instead of pulling out the extrusion, I'm going to pull it into the object. And so I'm going to say that this extrusion should go through all of the object. Notice how then it cuts off this other part of the object. That's not really what I want, so I'll go ahead and change it back to a distance, and I'll say I want it to be -3 inches. And that means that it's going to cut out this part by 3 inches. And so I'll go ahead and click OK. Now notice I got the dimensions wrong on this. So we want these things to be identical. So I didn't remember what the dimensions are. So let's look at that again. So I'm just going to use this little inspect tool to measure from this point to this point. That's 2 inches. And then to measure the height of that is 1.5 inches. And so I can come back in here to my sketch that I created right here. Double click on that. Change this dimension to 2 inches. Click Finish Sketch. And I can now see that those sketches or those parts are identical. And so that's the difference between additive and subtractive modeling. And you'll use both methods when you're creating parts.